Hey team, welcome back to my podcast. Today I'm growing. I'm so excited to have you here, and I'm also really excited to talk about today's topic with you, which is something I sometimes struggle with. We're talking about loneliness, team. And it's actually really out of comfort zone talking about loneliness because it's something I felt really ashamed of for a really, really long time. Every time when I felt lonely, I also felt like I have no one. Nobody likes me. Nobody loves me, and something is wrong with me. And I also felt really alone with being lonely. And if you experience the same, maybe even right now, then I want you to know that you are not alone with this problem. If you think you are the only one struggling with loneliness, then I want you to listen carefully right now. I found out something. Listen. Nearly 1 in 4 people worldwide, which is more than 1 billion people, feel very or fairly lonely, according to a recent survey of more than 140 countries. Team, that means that so many people struggle with loneliness. Like all over the world, so many people struggle with this problem. And I really want you to understand and know that you are not alone with this. Of course, in every single podcast episode, we have a problem and we try to find solutions for it, and we try to figure out how we can solve the problem. And of course, we do it here as well. At the end of this episode, I will share some tips, something that I do when I feel really lonely. And I hope these tips help you to overcome this loneliness and to not feel alone with it. But I think before, it's really, really important to understand for all of us what loneliness actually is and what loneliness isn't. Because there is a huge difference between loneliness and spending time alone or being alone. If you follow me on social media, if you follow me on YouTube, then you see that I spend a lot of time on my own. I'm single since a long time, since a few years. I do have friends, I spend time with my friends, but I also spend a lot of time on my own. And I want you to understand the difference between loneliness and spending time on your own, because I think spending time on your own, from now on we say solitude, like that is something that's really, really important. And the main difference is that loneliness is more like a negative feeling. It's bad for you. It's destroying you, and it makes you feel really bad, and it can have negative health impacts. I will talk about this a little bit later. But it's more like a negative feeling. Also, what's really, really interesting about loneliness is that you can even be in a room with a lot of people, or in a room with your friends. You can sit at the dinner table with your family and you can still feel lonely. So it's really a feeling from the inside. It's like you feel like you're alone and you don't belong here, and you don't feel connected, or you feel like you're not fitting in. Now, solitude on the other side, so you're spending time on your own, you're spending time alone, is more like a choice. It's something you want to do. And it's also something that I personally think is really, really important. For example, for having more time to reflect and having more time to figure out what you want in life. So really, spending time alone can be super, super helpful to figure out who you are and to figure out what you want in your life. So that is the main difference. I want to talk a bit more about solitude because I think we all should spend a little bit time on our own. So I said before that it's super important if you want to learn more about yourself, if you really want to dive into your brain and understand your thoughts and try to understand your emotions and feelings. And there are many different ways to practice solitude or how you can spend more time on your own. So to me, the best time of the day to practice solitude is the morning. And I talk a lot about morning routines, but I think morning routines are perfect because you wake up, you have a clear head, you are ready for a new day. It's every single day is kind of like a fresh new start and a fresh new beginning. So I think the first hours of the day are really powerful and really important. So if you spend the first hours of your day practicing solitude, that can be really, really powerful and really productive and effective. My current morning routine starts really early. So I really try to wake up at 5 a.m. every single day, which also means it's such a common question. When I go to bed, I have to go to bed really early. Currently, it's around 9 a.m. I try to, because I really try to get my 8 hours of sleep in. But anyways, I wake up at 5 a.m. And the thing I love about waking up so early is, first of all, it is so quiet. It is so peaceful. It's just me, and most of the people out there sleep. So I love to go out for my morning walk, and it's dark, and most windows are closed and like dark. So there is no light and nobody's up. And it also makes me feel so powerful. So I feel like it's quiet. I have so much time for myself, no distractions. And I feel like more powerful than the others because they sleep while I already start thinking about my day and thinking about my goals and practice solitude. So if you want to start practicing solitude, I also highly recommend that you start your day a little bit early. And maybe it's just an hour earlier than right now. Maybe right now you always wake up at 9 a.m. Then waking up at 8 a.m. already gives you an extra hour every day to spend some more time on your own to practice solitude. Something that's really important when I talk about practicing solitude is that, yes, it's time that you spend on your own. So you don't hang out with friends during that time. You don't spend time with your family during that time. But something that's also really important is that you really spend the time on your own without any kind of distractions. And I don't want to say you shouldn't spend time online, because there is a difference on how you spend your time online. Like, you can read and learn and study online, and that's super helpful for your self-development and for your personal growth. But you can also hang on your phone and scroll on social media, and that, on the opposite, is really bad for your self-development and for your body image, for everything. We know that scrolling a little bit too much on social media can be really harmful. So make sure you're not distracted. But I don't want to say don't be online or don't use any kind of electronical devices, because they can be helpful. They can be helpful on your self-development journey and on your growth journey. They can help you learn and understand things better. So it's not necessarily a bad thing to go on your phone or to listen to a podcast episode, for example, in those solitude hours. And here, there are a few things that you can do to practice solitude. For example, you can go out for a walk without distractions, without scrolling on social media. But as I said before, you can listen to a podcast, which helps you grow, which helps you learn and understand more things. So I love to go out for walks. I also love any kind of movement. Like, everything that you do for yourself and for your body is a form of practicing solitude and spending time on your own. So every kind of movement. What else? I also think that journaling can be really, really powerful. What I mean by journaling is just writing down your thoughts, writing down your feelings. It is so powerful. Journaling is part of my day since years. So I love journaling. I love planning, because I think it is so easy. You can do it everywhere. You can get a piece of paper, or you can get your journal, you take a pen and you just write. And I think at the beginning it can be really, really hard, but once you're in the routine, it is really, really powerful. Something that's also really good and highly recommended by a lot of other creators or scientists is meditation. And when I think about meditation, I think I have to sit on my bed or in a wonderful, beautiful, peaceful place, and I have to close my eyes and I have to sit upright, and like everything, I have this image in my head. Everything has to be perfect and comfortable. And then I breathe in and then I breathe out and I have my eyes closed and everything is in the flow. So that's how I think of meditation. But I think that actually isn't meditation. That's just romanticizing it and thinking that if I want to meditate, then that's the way it has to look like. But no, that's already not how it works, because that's what we see maybe on advertisements or on social media or on the internet. That's what we think meditation is, but that isn't meditation. So meditation should be accessible anywhere, I think. So for example, even when you sit on the train and you close your eyes, you should be able to meditate there too if needed. So there's no perfect environment, perfect place to do it. And also, it's not that you close your eyes and you immediately fall into the perfect meditation space and there are no thoughts in your head. I don't think that's how it looks like, because when I close my eyes, for example, right now, then there are tons of things in my head, tons of to-dos, tons of tasks, tons of negative thoughts, tons of positive thoughts. So many thoughts, and it's really hard for me to clear my head. But yeah, I'm just complaining about meditation and I'm trying to find excuses why I don't meditate. But to me, it's really hard because I have this romanticized thought in my head about it. But actually, meditation can also be different kind of things. Going for a walk and just looking around and just being present, I think that's the main word here. That's actually what meditation to me is, being present. I have to say that again now, because being present is one of the hardest things to me. In this world right now where everything is so fast and where there's so many inputs from all sides coming in, it's really, really hard to just be present, to not be available, to not be online, and to just be present for a moment. I really want to mention that here right now, because that is a hard thing to do, but we all should do it more often. Last but not least, team, when it comes to practicing solitude, to me, what's really cool is traveling on my own, traveling alone. And I don't know what it is about traveling, but as soon as I step on the plane, it always feels like it's the start of a new life, or it's the beginning of something new. It's something new, exciting. And no matter in what kind of routine I was stuck in, every single time when I step on the plane, I feel like a new door is opening. And to me, it's really powerful to travel alone. And this might sound crazy to so many of you, but I think you can learn a lot when you travel alone. It might seem scary the first time, and I do have one friend, she tried to travel alone, and it wasn't for her. She felt so lonely. She felt like she's not able to do all the things that she wanted to do because she felt like she needed a partner for that or a friend for that. But I personally love it. And I think it's so powerful to step on the plane alone and to travel somewhere and experience everything on your own. And not just traveling alone. You don't necessarily have to step on a plane and travel to another country or travel on the other side of the world. You can also just leave your door and check out what's available in your city, within your city. You can, for example, talking about traveling, that's something I always wanted to do a staycation on your own. Like book a hotel close to you. For example, I right now live in Berlin. I could book in a hotel room here in Berlin and just hang out there for a weekend on my own. I think that's really, really cool. And it can help you practice solitude and also just learn so much about yourself and learn so much about life. So spending time on your own doesn't necessarily mean that you are lonely. It is something different. It is important. So spend time on your own, practice solitude. I told you it's important. I told you it's okay. I told you it's needed if you want to grow. And it's definitely not the same as loneliness. All right, let's step into loneliness. I said before that loneliness is an inner feeling. It feels like nobody likes you, nobody loves you. And the crazy thing is, everyone, and I really mean everyone, we all need food, we all need water, we all need air to breathe, but we also need love. We all need love, we all need relationships. That's what every single human being on this planet needs. So we also need that feeling of we belong somewhere. We are loved. We have friends. We have family. We have someone around us. We are part of a community. That's super important. That's what everyone, and I really mean everyone, needs. So if you feel like you don't belong somewhere, nobody loves you, nobody likes you, it does something with you. And it actually has so many downsides. Like loneliness, feeling lonely has so many downsides. It even can make you sick. It can have an impact on your immune system, which is so, so crazy. It can make you sick. It can make you feel weak, or it can make you weak because it has an impact on your whole body. It's stressing you. I think that's the main thing. It is stressing you. And we all know the danger of stress. It is so dangerous if you constantly put stress on your body. And that's what loneliness does. If you feel lonely, it's stress for your body. And that can have an impact on your health, on your physical health, but also on your mental health. There are many people later on, if they are lonely for a really, really long time, they even struggle with depression. So really with really bad mental health issues. And that's why it's so important to talk about that. If you struggle with loneliness, you have to change something. You have to find solutions to solve the problem, because it can have a really negative impact on your health, on your overall life. This negative feeling, to me, when I feel lonely, it feels like I'm a loser. And even thinking back now to school and to just when I had been a teenager, or even when I was little, you always wanted to have friends and you always wanted to be part of the cool kids because they had so many different friends. So from a young age on, we try to be one of the cool kids. We try to have a lot of friends because the cool kids are the successful ones. The cool kids are the loved ones. You don't want to be the lonely child. You don't want to be alone. Doing a bit of self-reflection work, I try to figure out when I actually feel lonely. So I told you it's not that I constantly feel lonely. It's more like different kind of situations that really make me feel lonely. And I want to share them with you because maybe you can relate. Maybe you experience that these situations make you feel lonely as well. Maybe you have other situations. I think the important thing here to mention is that you should do a little bit of self-reflection work and figure out what kind of situations make you feel lonely. To me, the number one, and I think many can relate here, to me, the number one situation that makes me feel lonely is when I compare myself. And immediately when I think about comparison, I think of social media, because social media is a place where it's really easy to compare yourself. So for example, I go on Instagram and I scroll through the Instagram feed and I see all these romantic, beautiful couples. Being single since a very, very long time and not dating at the moment makes me feel lonely then. It makes me feel like, wow, they have this amazing relationship. Everything is so perfect. Everything is so fine. They have found each other and it's so romantic. It makes me feel like, okay, I'm single. I'm now 10 days in a row sitting alone at my dinner table and eating dinner alone. The only thing I do is like watching Netflix next to eating dinner. It makes me feel lonely. And that's just because I compare myself to others. But not just online. Also, when I look at my friends group, I have a really close friends circle and they all are in a relationship right now. I'm the last one. I'm the last one not being in a relationship, and it doesn't matter. But sometimes it makes me feel lonely because I compare myself. I also know that this is my problem. It's not the problem of them to be in a happy relationship, and they should show it. It's totally fine. It's totally okay. And it's inspiring somehow as well. But it's my problem that I compare my love life to their love life. Also, another situation that makes me feel really lonely is that I work a lot. I love to work and I talk a lot about it. I talk a lot about my goals and my dream and my vision, and that I love to hustle. What I mean by that is I wake up in the morning, I'm super excited about work, and I open my laptop and I start to work every single day, and I love it. It's cool. I really love it. But by saying that, I have to be really careful because working so much and this hustle lifestyle can make you feel really lonely. It can get really isolating. it can get really isolated because you're just on your own, working all the time, working on this business, and also working on yourself. If you are out of balance, no matter what it is in life, that can make you feel lonely. And that's what happened to me in the last couple of years. I was working a lot and I tried it. I tried it a few times to find this balance. I think it got better. I have to mention that here. I think it got definitely better. So I try to take a day off at least once a week and spend it with friends or spend it with my family. But I think that's really important to be in balance. That's important for everything in life. When I talk about working out, it's also important to work out and have rest days. When I talk about food and nutrition, it's important to eat the whole foods, but also the soul foods. And that's the exact same with your lifestyle, like the work-life balance. Whatever that means to you, it's different for every single one. But I think it's important for you to figure out what kind of balance you need in your life to feel your healthiest and happiest. Also, another situation that makes me feel lonely is when I feel misunderstood or not accepted. And I'm now thinking of a situation that happened to me. Maybe you can relate then. Events where I went alone but I would actually add this to the comparison, to comparing myself to others, because going to an event where you don't know anyone, and then when you have that feeling of, oh my God, they're all so much more beautiful than me, or they're all so well dressed and they look better than me, and I don't have a nice outfit, my hair isn't that beautiful, I just don't fit in here. They all are so much more wealthy than me, whatever. I actually would say I feel not accepted, but I also compare myself again to others. So I would add that to comparing myself to others. Another one is arguments. When I'm in an argument with someone, that also makes me feel lonely. When I can't argument, I can't fight. I hate it. I really hate it. I hate when there is this negative vibe. For example, between my mom and I, between my dad and I, or between my friends and I. I really hate to argument, and it makes me feel so lonely. So that also puts me into this loneliness mindset. Last but not least, team, other things that can make you feel lonely, maybe that describes a situation that you had been in. It could be moving to another city. If you move out of your home, out of your parents' home, into a new place or into a new city, that can make you feel really lonely, especially when it's far away from home. So I grew up in Austria in a really small village. I had my friends there and I still have my friends there. They're all still there. But I moved out alone on my own now to Berlin. And I had already people here, which definitely helped me and supported me on this whole moving journey. But I can imagine if you move out into a whole new city and you don't know anyone, maybe it's even a different language in this new place, in this new city, that can be really, like it can take some time to adapt and to build a new friend circle in this new city. But it's possible. I want to tell you, it's possible to find new friends, to find a new community that you feel like you fit in. It's definitely possible. But at the beginning, it can make you feel lonely moving to a new place, to a new city. And last but not least, the last situation that I want to talk about is the loss of a loved one. That can also make you feel lonely. I haven't had that, and I'm so grateful for that. I haven't had a moment right now that I can remember where someone died or where I lost someone, and I'm really grateful and thankful for that. It's also really scary when I think about it, because I have no idea how I deal with that kind of situation one day, and I know one day it's gonna happen, maybe, but I have no idea how I will deal with it or what kind of an impact it will have on me. But also, I want to work with the same kind of mindset that I always have. No matter what happens in life, there are always solutions. So I kind of think like a CEO right now. And I'm the CEO of my own life. So whatever problems life throws at me, I will always try to find solutions. No problem will destroy me or destroy my life. I will always try to find solutions. That's a powerful mindset, and I hope you can adapt this mindset to your life as well. So I shared the situations with you that make me feel lonely. I also quickly, really, really quick, want to share with you what actually happens when I feel lonely. So there are a few things that I noticed when I reflected on my life, reflected on things that I do, and when I try to understand why I do what I do. Maybe that's something you can relate to, because I have a lot of people struggling with their relationship with food. And I have a weird relationship with food. Like the past that I had, all the diets that I tried, all the restrictions and all the food rules that I had in my head, they developed an unhealthy relationship with food. And it's something that I still work on. It's something that I will work on the rest of my life, but especially in stressful situations. And we talked about feeling lonely is stress for your body. It is a stressful situation for your body. And that also sometimes makes me do weird things when it comes to food. It makes me eat more than I actually wanted to eat. So I try to reduce the stress, or I try to remove the negative emotions and the negative feelings from my body by eating. And I know that's bad. And that's something I have to work on. But I think even now, understanding that, okay, maybe I just feel lonely. So next time, for example, when I turn on Netflix and I'm like, okay, now I'm going to eat as much as I can, and I just want to lie in bed, eat and watch Netflix without even tasting what it tastes like or without being mindful about it. That's what I want to say. Maybe next time then I can sit down and be like, okay, maybe I just feel lonely right now. Maybe I should call my mom and talk to her while eating dinner. Maybe that makes me feel so much better. Yeah, but that's something I sometimes do when I feel lonely. I try to remove these negative emotions, these negative feelings with food. You know what I also do when I feel lonely sometimes? I try to distract myself by buying things. What I mean by that is I go to a random store, like for example, a drugstore or clothes, like clothing, and I buy random stuff. I try to buy happiness. That's what I do. I try to buy happiness. And here in Germany, it's called DM. DM to me is the best distraction and the best place for me to just buy random things. It's like a drugstore, and they have like lots of makeup and beauty stuff, but also foods. So they have an amazing organic food selection, and they have everything for the nails and for the face. So I go to DM and buy just random things that I don't need. That's such a bad behavior I want to work on. I would have such an amazing time if I would just call a friend and go out for a cup of coffee. But no, I go to DM and buy random things. It doesn't make sense. But yeah, I'm also not perfect. Just want to share with you things that I do when I feel lonely. Maybe you can relate. And maybe it also makes you think right now, oh, hold on. Sometimes I also go to TM or any other store and buy random things without needing them or without wanting them. I think that's the main thing. And maybe it also makes you think now, okay, hey, maybe you're also just lonely sometimes. Team, I hope this whole episode until now gave you an overview of what loneliness is, what it actually does to you, that it's not good for you, it's stress for yourself and for your body, and the difference to solitude. So the difference between loneliness and solitude, that it's okay to spend time on your own. It's actually needed and something really cool and powerful. But feeling lonely and being alone and spending time on your own, there's a huge difference. And I hope you got that now, and I hope you understood it. Now, what can you do when you feel lonely? What are my tips? At the end of every single episode here on my podcast, I always try to give you tips. I always try to give you step-by-step things that you can do to solve problems, because that's what we do here. You know what? We are the CEOs from now on of our lives. So you are the CEO of your own life, and you just need a step-by-step guide on how to solve problems. So next time when you feel lonely, when you have that problem, what can you do? I give you just my tips, things that I do. I'm sure there are many other tips as well and many other recommendations. Try it. Try to do a little bit of research on your own. I just want to share what I do. So I live in Berlin right now. And the first thing that I do when I feel lonely, like I have to get out of my apartment. I have to get out of here. And what I do is I love to book workout classes. I love to work out. I love to move my body, and everything that comes with fitness and just moving my body, that excites me because I love it. I'm interested in it. So what I do is I book a workout class, and that already makes me feel less lonely because it's with people. It's an activity that I like. I'm interested in it. And I highly recommend you to do that as well. Book a workout class or book any other classes, workshops. You could go to a pottery class. That's actually right now, it's so popular. I see it all the time on my social media feed, people going to pottery classes. I also got from one of my friends a gift card for a pottery workshop or pottery class. And I'm super excited to do that. You could also go just into to a coffee place and have a cup of coffee. You can go out for a walk on your own or with friends. Which leads me to the next point. You can always ask someone to join you, go out for a walk. You can always ask someone to go out for a cup of coffee or go to the cinema or whatever. A common problem that I notice is that I'm sometimes waiting. I'm waiting here for someone to call me and be like, hey, do you want to hang out? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? I'm just waiting. I think that's a common issue and common problem, especially when you feel lonely. Why not grabbing your phone right now, going on WhatsApp or calling someone and be like, hey, do you have time right now? Let's do something. Let's go out for a walk. Of course, the best case is what's something that you would do alone right now, but maybe you want to do it with someone else. Just ask. That's so important. So if you don't want to go alone to a workout class, then just ask your friend if she or he wants to join. All right, team, we made it to the end of this podcast episode. And every single time, in every single podcast episode, I always try to explain things to you and learn things with you, but I also always try to solve problems. I always try to give you tips and solutions because we always talk about problems. So what can we do? And I kind of from now on want to see it as we all are the CEOs of our lives. So you are the CEO of your life, and life throws problems at you. So let's just find solutions together. And of course, also in this podcast episode, we try to find solutions. What can we do when we feel lonely? And I want to share a few things that I do, my tips and my recommendations, what I do when I feel lonely. But of course, there are other ways and other tips and other recommendations that you can find out for yourself. I always say that it's so important that you figure out what works for you. So here we are, my number one tip. So something that I do when I feel lonely, you need to know, I said before, I live in Berlin. So I live in the city, I live in Berlin. What I do when I feel lonely here is I take my phone, I go on the app ClassPass and book in a workout class because I love it. I love to move my body. I love workout classes. I'm so interested into the fitness classes here in Berlin and also in other cities. That's also something I do when I travel. When I feel lonely and I don't know what to do, I just book in a workout class. There are also so many different things that you can book in. Also, when I have a lot of energy, then I might go to a boxing class or a HIIT running workout class, whatever. When I don't have that much energy, I go to some yoga, stretching. I even went once to a meditation class. I tried it and it was so fun. And I like that I have to leave my apartment. I have to go outside. It's kind of like a distraction, but it's also with people. So there are also people and you can also maybe talk to them there, whatever, maybe or maybe not. But what I want to say here is that Distracting yourself and going to a class is so powerful if you feel lonely. And you don't have to go to a workout class. There are also so many other classes that you could do. You could join a pottery class or like a workshop. I actually got from one of my friends a gift card. It was her Christmas gift to me to go to a pottery class. And I'm so excited. I really want to do it. But just go somewhere where other people are as well. Try something new. And I know at the beginning or when you do that the first time, it can be so out of comfort zone. Going alone somewhere, it can be really out of comfort zone. But I believe in you and you can do it. And you should do it. You should try it. It's really, really cool. And if I can do it, you can do it too. The next tip is to not wait. Don't wait for someone to ask you if you want to go out for a walk or if you want to go out for a coffee, or don't wait for someone to call you. Just do it yourself. You have your phone, I'm pretty sure, right now next to you. Just grab it and call someone. Call your mom, call your dad, call one of your friends. Oh my God, this is so underestimated. I don't know when we stopped to call people. It's so cool to go out for a walk and call a person that you love. Maybe you can do it today. Maybe you can do it tomorrow, but just don't wait. Don't wait for someone to take the opportunity to reach out to you. Like, you can do it yourself. And last but not least, the last tip, if you struggle with loneliness, if you think you can't handle it yourself, if you think you can't get out of this negative cycle, then I highly, highly recommend to reach out to a professional. And I'm pretty honest and open here about therapy and talking to a professional because sometimes it's needed. And it's nothing to feel bad about. Just because you want to go to therapy and talk to someone, there's nothing to feel ashamed of, or there's nothing to feel bad about. Because that's actually, to me, if someone understands that, like, if you understand that you have a problem and you reach out to a professional, I personally think that is really strong and that is really, really brave. Opening up to a stranger, opening up to a professional, that is strong. And not doing it and struggling with your problems and being in your own mindset, stuck in your own mindset, that isn't strong. Like, you should reach out to a professional if you think it's needed, no matter which problem you have, actually. If it's loneliness, if it's other mental health issues, you should always reach out to someone. You should always talk about it. That is strong and that will help you grow in all areas of life. Whew, what an episode. I really hope you enjoyed it, team. I really hope you learned something today. I really hope if you feel lonely right now, it makes you feel like you're not alone with this problem. I told you at the beginning of the podcast episode how many people struggle with it. So you are not alone with this problem. And last but not least, I hope you got some tips out of it, how you can overcome loneliness. You have to find out what works for you. You have to figure out how you can be the CEO of your life and find solutions for the problems that you have in your own life. Team, thank you so much for listening. I loved it. I loved sitting here. I loved talking to you. I cannot wait to read your feedback. Send it over to me on Instagram. Send me a DM. Let me know how much you liked this podcast episode or what you think about it. Also, feel free to leave a podcast rating here. Rate the podcast. This helps the podcast to grow. This helps me to grow. And this helps us as a community to grow. And once again, thank you so much. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being part of this amazing team and this amazing community. And thanks for growing with me. It means the world to me. Thank you so much, team. And I cannot wait to chat to you soon. Bye.